parts of you you have now already given away. But that's made holy. Because you are on a path of evolving to a higher purpose. Do you see that purpose in the path unfolding of those that's gone before you? No. What do you see unfold? You see machines unfold. You see control unfold. You see your ability to reason for yourself constructively diminish. All you have to do is go back 30, 40 years and you will not be able to do the exam papers from that time. Your ability to deal with information has diminished considerably. How did it happen? Through this process of slowly but surely siphoning away with your permission yourself. Now you are scattered in a construct called time throughout infinity. And you can't remember where you have left yourself on all the parts of yourself. Which is quite a problem. Because, in essence, to get it all back, you're going to have to walk in reverse. That means walk everything that you have done up to now, throughout billions and billions of years, in giving up your self, to bring yourself back together again. What was more interesting in this whole point was that in all of this, while they were creating this, something else was happening that they did not consider. Earth was changing. Earth was alive. And Earth was not necessarily aligned with what they were doing. So, when they realized the problem, they needed to automate the system. And they needed to make sure that no one will ever get out of this. To do that, they started programming into the sequences nastiness to a level that is never been seen before, as you see it today in reality. That nastiness is what has become you, because it is symbolically triggered as your symbolism, as your resonant symbols, as you move through your timeline and comes up as thoughts about other people, until that thought becomes the living you, where you have those thoughts about people all the time. And you find yourself unable to consider anyone as equal because you judge them all the time. And have a look. You're self-honest, you'll notice your total existence exists out of one thing. You're always right, and everybody else is always wrong. And you're busy with your life path, and no one can fucking tell you anything about that. And you will walk this alone, all by yourself, and you will get it. I promise you, you won't. You are essentially fucked for eternity. There is no way out. Not as long as this exists. And to get out of this, you're going to have to become self-honest. And as you've already noticed, how long has some of you been on the farm? What is the most difficult thing that exists? Self-honesty. Your ability to stop your resonant thoughts. Most difficult. You will always change it for your own benefit, no matter what. You will not stand for life. Your own interest is predominant. And therefore what happens? All that happens is just new cycles, same timelines, same shit. No change. and also no possibility of change. Why? These things are existing in you, as you are this. And within that you are programmed to fear this change so much that you will not consider changing. You're not willing to give that up because something is going to happen when you give this up. You're going to become empty, have no thoughts, have no mind. How are you going to interact in this reality? And really you are, when that happens, there is nothing. You can't speak properly. You can't reason properly, nothing. That's what will happen. You're still going to be here as the physical body, but the physical body is now without the machine that was running it. And it's going to take some effort to transcend all of those points. And obviously if you have no support, which you're not going to have because people are going to say to you, no, impossible, I mean, we're here living in God's reality. God gave us free will, free choice. We fuck ourselves. I mean, old people should be advertised as the reason why you shouldn't live. I mean, if you start listening to them, you hear the obvious nature of the major problem that's taking place. This being is completely going fucking insane, and it is seen as an attainment, and they're now going to get a fucking soul. Where is the common sense logic in all of this that's happening? Where is our great thinkers? Which you must now admit, the ones that see themselves as the great thinkers of reality is the atheists. Where are they not being able to see such simplicity of the problem? That there is not a progression taking place. There is a devolution taking place. Why? They're in the same fucking thing. They're no different. They're trapped in exactly the same thing. It's irrelevant. It is totally irrelevant what you believe in. Your religion means nothing. It is irrelevant what you're believing in. Because in self-honesty, the construct of your thoughts and the actions you will take in your reality are all the same for everyone. You all have exactly the same desires. You have all exactly the same wishes. You have just various levels of it emerging depending on where you are in your timeline, because all of these timelines are running concurrently in various grid lines. So another one will be running there, another one will be running there, but they are not synchronizing. They are only synchronizing with those people that you are going to meet, which is a very small group of people in this reality. Very few people that you'll meet through a lifetime compared to all the people that's here. And with those, you'll have a synchronistic connection. It's because your bloody timelines are synchronized within the grid line, and you are, through the resonant symbols, experiencing the energetic interaction that takes place, and all of that energy was always going to heaven, and you were fueling heaven. So they then created a closed system because they had a problem. The system was becoming alive. And they needed to make sure it's going to be able to feed them, firstly. And secondly, they needed to make sure that no one can break out the system. Therefore, they made it a complete madness, which is now predominant, where each one that is in this reality believes they have the answer, and what they believe is the answer, and they will not, and they are not willing to give up their way of thinking, their path. They believe their path will lead them to the answer. It will lead you to the answer. what I've just explained to you, where you're totally fucked, which is the answer. It will lead you to the answer, I mean, it will. When we realize the extent of the problem, we also realize that nobody is going to want to hear this. This is the most difficult message ever, because all the synchronicities, all the timelines and the paths are deliberately playing out to reject anything that contradicts the being's inner experience, which are resonantly programmed. So therefore, the being will look you in the eyes, they will go into a reaction on what you're saying, they believe what they feel, and they will walk away. They will die, we meet them on the other side, and they fucked and they said, I'm so sorry I didn't listen. Too late. I mean, too late. So obviously, what do we know? We know that everyone was God's and is no more. I mean, if you were a God, you will, fuck knows, be able to get out of your shit, but you're unable to. You're not even able to stop your own thoughts. There is no divinity within you. Because if there were any, you would have been able to be self-honest. Because divinity implies a level of morality that is consistent, that is not existent. All that exists is a God of judgment, the mind. All you do is judge it. And as you judge, you'll be judged. I mean, because exactly what you are becoming is what you're seeing in everyone. It's the greatest joke in the fucking universe. Exactly what you judge in others is what you will end up as. You are actually creating yourself and seeing yourself in others. And that keeps you moving in your timeline because you say, I don't want to be that bad like that fucker there. I mean, I will walk my path. And there you keep on walking. And where do you end up? You say, I don't want to be like my parents. Where do you end up? Like your parents. Will you stop? I would say unlikely. We have investigated every possible intervention in reality to bring forth a consideration where humanity, individually and as a whole, would consider that there is something wrong with what is going on with life on earth. And that what is happening has to do with what happens after death. And that is not even investigated, because you're so preoccupied with your path and that you're going to get a reward after death, which is exactly the same thing that happens within the system when you run a business or when you are busy with your occupation. You are so focused on making a name for yourself that you don't care what the fuck you have to do it. And we've tested this shit out, I mean, to check. It was like, you can't believe that this is fucking possible. And we've tested the shit out. I mean, we placed the videos, tested it out, impulsed it. I mean, and that's Ned had a tough time because she had no idea what the next move will be as we were testing the points out. What can I say? It is possible to stop this. We will be working with that with the structural resonance alignment. We can't help everyone. This is a physical timeline. This is as a total timeline moving towards an evolutionary step which is pre-programmed that will remove all ability of self-evaluation, where you will be a complete robot. Then the system is completed as an energetic driven force that is self-managed, self-corrective, I mean, the ultimate system. Obviously, they did not expect there's going to be a fuck-up. Because information could be so easily manipulated, which would have made it so much more difficult to get to all the points of what the fuck is going on, we deleted the Akashic records and all of your stuff, so that you have a clean slate, in fact, if you would dare to take it. Everything that you are is existent within the system of consciousness. You don't need the Akashic record. You don't need your past lives. You don't need to know where in what has happened. All you have to do is deal with this physical reality and what is happening in this reality, and amalgamate yourself with what is here and direct what is here equal in one, and you solve the problem. You could not be given that which you have given away, because then you would be a slave. You can never be a god again unless you are self-willed equals. If that does not happen, you will not exist. You have caused it, no one else. You cannot blame anyone for what has happened to you. You cannot blame anyone for the thoughts that is happening within you. You cannot blame anyone for the judgments you have about others. You cannot blame anyone for the desires you hold. You cannot blame anything and anyone for what you are allowing within yourself as your weakness. You're doing it. And you're doing it deliberately. You're not willing to give it up. That's why you're not willing to breathe. And I mean, I can show each one of you that in essence you haven't changed. You're just the same. And it's getting worse every now and then. Then we have to intervene, show you what you're doing, and then you're, oh God, what am I doing? But then you do it again. So now we're going to, in time to come, the next couple of weeks and months, how long ever it takes, keep on explaining to you in absolute fucking detail how you became what the fuck you are now. You will have no excuse. And you're going to have to stop yourself. Remember, we started with that message from the very beginning. You have to stop. You cannot get, just unplug that and answer. You cannot regain what you were. The fact that you could fall as God means you can never be God again, because it cannot be trusted. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's over. What are you going to become? We don't know. But it cannot be what you were, and it cannot be what you are now. It's going to have to be something that is going to have to be really new and consistent and trustworthy. And if you're going to deal with the basic resonant energies of the universe, which is your mind, how can you expect to have any say in what happens in reality? I mean, you're in this reality where all you have to do is deal with what goes on inside you. And according to that, act with others in equality and dignity. You can't do that. How can you expect anything? Is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll continue at another time, so this is just a basic outline of the fall of God, and how you find yourself here within the movement of time, within the cycles of polarity, being the ups and the downs, and how it is symbolically activated as time moves. You're not moving, time is moving. Your actions or movements within this reality are purely you interacting with the symbolism that is already in time. You have appointments and disappointments. That's how you're interacting. You're seeking out your appointments because that's your synchronicities, and you try and avoid your disappointments. In different dimensional ways, you're being directed by time. That's why time says, tie me. I am tied. You are tied. What you've allowed. There are many beings in the universe that are not part of the original gods which you are. They are busy taking your place. You better hurry up. They could demand that you should experience what they had to in your name. But at the moment they seem to be forgiving. The only ones that can't forgive is you. So, consider what we are saying. We have shared very little, deliberately. Because that which walk as humans in the flesh on this earth is the most deceptive things imaginable. That is only existing in self-interest, in self-pleasure, and only look after their own asses. Not interested in anything else. We have proven that in every way imaginable. I frankly would be surprised if that which is emerging from the universe would forgive. I would think it would be a mistake. Because that was so definitive a possibility, self-forgiveness was introduced because that placed the responsibility in your own hands. So you can't blame them. If you find out after death that you're fucked. You are responsible at this stage for yourself only. To equalize yourself with that which at this stage you cannot even imagine exists. You used to know. Do not use your imagination because that's programmed. You can't trust anything that is inside you.